Good morning. Welcome to it's not coffee morning. Welcome to a broadcast, MH Warrior TV. My name's Adam Duval, aka the Mental Health Warrior, and today, obviously, as you can see in the background, it's Remembrance Day. So, obviously, the Mental Health Warriors are behind all the people that's going to be experiencing remembrance for the veterans that served our country and fought for our freedom, everything like that. So we are going to be joined by guest Katia Jacqueline. Jacqueline, I don't know. She's like that. Who knows? Please don't kill me. She is the online therapeutic coach. Now we're going to be covering that. So all I've got to say is everyone please just share the hell out of this. Put in the comments who you are. But first, I'm going to introduce our inspirational warrior back to on camera. Please tune in for Melissa Christie. Hello.
Hi, Adam. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Thank you.
Oh, brilliant. You were just crackling and I thought, please don't let that be me. Please don't.
Oh, well, it could be me. Yeah, anything's possible, Adam.
Well, if I do end up getting kicked off, which is a possibility, you're going to have to take over. How's that?
Oh, you won't get kicked off. You'll be fine. You'll be here.
Right. Welcome back on camera. It's been...
Thank you.
I've not enough hands to figure that out. How's it to be back?
Yeah, it's nice. It's been a little while, but it's nice to be here. Nice to support the mental health warriors again and settle in for a little bit. It'll be interesting to talk to Katia tonight.
Yes, we are on a mission. So all we've got to say is for Katia, we will see you in 30 seconds.
I absolutely love that 30 seconds countdown music. I love it.
People are getting bored of that.
Oh, no, I absolutely love it. I don't think I'll ever get bored of it. I love it. I don't know why.
Well.
Hi, Adam and Melissa. How are you?
We're fine.
Right. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for the invite.
You're most welcome. Well, don't get used to 30 seconds because we are actually thinking about doing like an introduction video to Warrior TV. We are. We're thinking about it, but who knows?
Yeah,
we've already got a comment from my beautiful wife, which is literally right above me. Morning, Warriors. Yep. Morning to you too. Now, you know, I'll get your bio while in there. I've got it in front of me because I don't want to slip up.
Like my name, like my surname.
I'm sorry.
My second name, really.
Jacqueline.
Katia Jacqueline.
Oh, there you go. Sorry.
You're forgiven. Don't worry about it. You're not the only person.
It's probably my accent.
Sorry, say that again?
It's probably my accent.
It's probably the accent, yes. Okay, I'll let you go with that.
Any excuse. Right, anyway. Yes, Katia is a licensed mental health therapeutic coach in private practice. She holds a degree in social sciences and an honours degree in both social work and psychology. My son will love you because he's just got himself into science.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, he's 9 years old, 10 in January, and he was doing string theory yesterday.
He's doing what theory?
String.
Okay, and he's loving it.
Yeah, we recently brought him and his sister out of school because they were holding barriers against them. So we thought you should never put a barrier in front of a child, especially with what they can offer. So, yeah, he's doing trigonometry, he's doing quantum physics.
Trigonometry, oh my word.
Wow.
Don't ask me what that is. I'm 30 years old and I ain't got a clue what it is.
Do you know what? I don't use. I learned trigonometry years ago, and I don't even use it in my day-to-day life. I don't know what the purpose of it is.
I don't know. Same with
trigonometry.
Same with string theory. I ain't got a clue what that is. I just heard the name.
I also, to be honest, I don't know. String theory?
I don't know.
Do you know?
I don't know.
No idea. No idea.
Like,
Is
yeah.
that just an English thing?
I don't know. Is it not American?
I think you need to Google it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll do that after.
I don't know anything about it.
I don't know. Who knows? Anywho. Right. I'm going to throw some quick fire questions at you both. Since, Melissa, you're a bit of a newbie because you've not been on for so long. Right. I'm going to say, do you prefer hot or cold?
Who you asking, Melissa? Okay.
I'm asking you both.
Hot. Definitely hot.
Hot. Right. Christmas or Halloween?
Christmas.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Okay. My partner's going to kill me. Does pineapple belong on pizzas?
No.
I'm going to say yes because I've seen pineapple pizzas. Oh my word, what a question. I wasn't expecting that one.
Pineapple's horrible. It's horrible. It's rubber.
It's
anyway. No.
It's nice on its own, but not on a pizza.
It doesn't belong anywhere.
But it's nice little pieces on its own. It's nice and fresh, sweet.
I'm going to be sick. I'll do last one. Pop or rock?
Pop.
As in music. Pop.
Oh. Yeah,
I think Melissa's a jazz girl. Do you not think?
I like a bit of jazz.
There you go.
I like a bit of jazz. A little bit of soul. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Right. Straight up. Who is Katia? Who is she?
Wow, single mum of 3 beautiful children and someone who's extremely passionate about helping people just believe in themselves and believe that they have the inner resources and potential to overcome their challenges in life. And I'm all about putting a smile on someone's face when they've got nothing to smile about, instilling hope in someone when they've got no hope, and just encouraging them to pursue forward and just let them know that all will be well when they're in their darkness of time. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Wow. I've never had that thrown at me before.
You've never had the what?
I've never had that thrown at me before. And by the way, Melissa, you can throw any questions in you want, at any time.
I will indeed. I will. Yes,
thank you. I'm quite scared because it could end up being thrown at me as well. Who knows?
All right.
Oh. Right. I want to talk about how you was growing up. What kind of life did you have?
Me.
You're the guest.
So okay, I'm just making sure it's not Melissa. So basically, I grew up with my grandparents in South Africa. Only child, and my dad left my mum when I think I was 18 months old. So I lived with my grandparents most of my life. At the age of 12, I moved to Portugal, did my studies and work in studies in Portugal, then moved back to South Africa to do university. And that's where I actually got and fell into the mental health field. So I think growing up, I was always the one person who always used to try and reach out and help everyone at school. Like, so if there was a newbie at school, I'll be the first one to go up to them and say welcome and show them around and try and make them feel comfortable. And, you know, if there was always someone who I felt was being bullied on, I would always go there and try and be their friend. So I've always had this like need to help someone growing up, and always feeling for the underdog in some way. And so I've always had this inner need, inner pull to just help people when they just can't help themselves. So yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah.
Anything to add to that, Melissa?
What was that?
Anything to add to that?
I was going to ask, what made you get into the mental health specifically?
Well, I didn't. I actually didn't want to go into mental health initially. I wanted to focus on working with children that had AIDS in South Africa at the time. But unfortunately, their placements, because it was at the time, it was at university, and we had to choose some placements. And unfortunately, that placement fell through. And so the only option I had was actually mental health. And I was petrified. I didn't want to do it. And then I was being encouraged by friends and kind of saying, just give it a go. It probably won't be as bad as you think it is. Because you know what? Everybody has different conceptions about mental illness. They do. People do. People find it scary. And I too was scared about the idea. And so, yes, my placement took place in a hospital called Sterkfontein Hospital. It's an inpatient hospital, psychiatric hospital with acutely unwell people in there. And it was such an unbelievable experience because, you know what, ultimately, every single human being in there is a human being. It could be any of us. Every person that's there deserves all the happiness in the world, regardless of how acutely unwell they are. And so, and that just, I don't know, I just loved it. I felt that was the place where I wanted to focus all my energy, time, and attention was in mental health. I think people tend to get stuck on the view that they are the mental illness. So, for example, if somebody's struggling with anxiety, they are anxiety. No, they're not anxiety. Anxiety is a separate disorder. It's not. You shouldn't identify yourself with anxiety. You are you, and let's bring out the beautiful you and put that separately, and we'll deal with that separately. But you're a separate person from mental illness.
Yeah, I agree.
I think people tend to identify themselves with a mental illness, and that's all they are. No, they're not. They're much more than that. And so I just decided to pursue the mental health field, and I don't regret the choice. And it's been, you know what? It's actually been a blessing in my life because it is what I love. I'm very passionate about it. I've struggled myself as well in the past with mental illness, and I don't think anyone's immune to it. No one, regardless of race, regardless of income, anyone can suffer from mental illness.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, beautiful. And I was just going to comment. Sorry, Adam. I was just going to comment. Do you find that quite common? That the things that you find really challenging that you really don't want to do are often the pathway to something that is the thing that is really beautiful. It is kind of like your light, your thing that absolutely lights you up and makes you feel so good about what it is that you're doing, but you don't realize it at the time until you actually step into it and go through it.
Totally. So for example, me being pushed into the mental health field, which is something that I didn't want to do, I felt was like life in itself just kind of showing me the way and saying, Katya, do you know what? Don't work with children with AIDS. We know what your path is, and it's mental health. And we'll, just go with the flow. Sometimes life throws you things that you do know what, you're a little bit resistant. You don't want to give it a go. You don't want to give it a try. But you know what? Just go with it because you actually might surprise yourself and it might be the most incredible experience. So, so it was definitely one of those.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask, what does mental health mean to you?
Mental health. Okay, first of all, I think I need to mention that mental health means to me just as much as physical health. I think we can't separate the two.
It's health, yeah. It's health.
Because I think it's health, and I think mental health it's on a spectrum, right? So you've got mental health on one end, and you've got mental illness on one end. Anybody that has a mind, which we all do,
Yeah,
are on somewhere on the spectrum. And mental health to me is just being able to function optimally in your life, in terms of your processing, in terms of your thoughts, in terms of your managing your feelings and coping with life challenges. And so it's all about being on the spectrum. So mental health is about the spectrum, where you are at. Are you on the extreme of mental health, physical health and well-being, like for example, or would you be on the other end of the spectrum where you can't function on your day-to-day life?
yeah.
You can't overcome your challenges. You're struggling with thoughts, you're struggling with suicidality or self-harm, or so mental health needs to be viewed as a spectrum, I think.
I agree.
Yeah, beautiful.
And one thing I must say, it really, really upsets me. When we talk about the word mental health, people automatically assume mental illness. And because when you say mental health, and people are like, oh, I don't have any issues with that. Well, everybody's got mental health.
Yeah.
When you say mental health, you're not specifically saying that you're mentally unwell.
Exactly. I agree.
Just by saying mental health, I'm not saying that you've got a mental illness. We just need to accept the word mental health as just as much as we would accept the word physical health.
It's that word mental, though, isn't it? When you hear the word mental health, and when someone comes across saying, oh, that person's got mental health, the mental, let's stay away from them.
Yeah.
That's why we say we need to, this word of mental health is being thrown around. And I think people need to be educated. Mental health is physical. It's similar like physical. Everybody's physically, like when we talk about physical health, we don't automatically assume physical illness, do we?
No.
But when we say mental health, people assume, oh, okay, that person's mentally ill.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, totally agree.
And so I think there needs to be a lot of education around the word mental health. And I think people need to embrace the fact that they all have mental health just as much as they have physical health.
Exactly. And this is why the Mental Health Warriors are going on tour come 2022, where we're going to get inside schools and we're going to educate not just the teachers, but the kids as well, because this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring the kids out of school, because they were touching on mental health, and they were touching on like depression, anxiety, in like feelings and expressions and everything like that. But I'm like, as good as that is, where's the mindset there? Where's the touching on the mindset of the law of attraction? So that's what we're going to do, because it doesn't matter who you are. Life always starts with your mindset.
Totally. And totally. Can I just add to that in terms of schools? I mean, I think like we were earlier talking about trigonometry.
Yeah.
How is that going to help them deal with their day-to-day functioning in life? I would much rather see in schools them being taught how to manage emotions, how to manage their finances, how to make friends, how to how to be assertive. These are the things that are the life skills that are needed for children these days to be able to be equipped to deal with life.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I see in schools time and time again is this thing about anxiety. They're feeling anxious about exams, or they're feeling, and I think staff now, because of this mental health being so prominent in the UK and everything, I think staff sometimes get a little bit uptight, and it's like, oh, they're suffering from anxiety, they've got a mental health issue. Anxiety or feeling worried is pretty normal. We need to start normalizing emotions. And I think people at school are not normalizing emotions. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel worried. It's okay to feel envious. It's okay to feel all these unpleasant emotions. It's okay. Just because you're feeling them doesn't mean you've got a problem. It's just learning how to manage it and deal with it and accept it. But, I feel that all this uptightness around unpleasant emotions, and I think we just need to normalize it a bit.
I love your passion.
Totally.
I love your passion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do get very passionate about these topics.
I can tell.
A bit across a bit too much.
No, it's absolutely, because this one's about getting the message out there. That's what it's about. And thanks, Kerry, for putting a remembrance post for the Warriors page. Thank you. But yeah, I wanted to touch on labels, but I think you've pretty much covered that. Because that's what it is. That's what all like anxiety, depression, whatever, it's all just labels.
It is labels. Yeah. And there's another thing that really upsets me is how people throw the words like, "Are you bipolar?" They don't even, don't throw words, because most people don't even know the difference between bipolar and schizophrenia. But they will just throw the words according to what they perceive it might be in their head. And I don't think that don't throw these words around, because they do know what they really are. Like, it's a serious illness. And we should be respectful of the word in itself, because you can't just say to someone like, I have so many young people sometimes coming to me, "Oh, my teacher thinks I'm bipolar," or my parents think I'm bipolar, or my friends have told me I'm bipolar. Do you know? And then they start believing that, and it's trying to then detach them from that, what they've been told.
That's really hard, then, isn't it?
It is, because people then start
to break the cycle.
Totally. Yeah. And especially when it comes to young people, because they rely very much on what their peers say. So and they become attached to that label. And it's like,
and do you find that, oh, sorry,
Catherine? No, go for it. No, it's fine.
No, I was just going to say, do you find then that that's part of their identity as they move through their stages of life?
Say that again?
Do you find that that's more part of people's identity as they move through their stages of life? Like in some stages, like there might be a stage where your identity is caught up in what other people perceive you to be. And then the next stage is more about what it is that you get from life, what it is that you get from society. So then you get another perception about how that is formed our identity around what we get rather than what we give.
Totally. Our self-identity is always based in terms of what, the feedback we get from other people. And that becomes, incorporated in our own personal beliefs about ourselves. And then the concept you have about yourself is how you reenact in life. So then you have to kind of untangle that and kind of change your self-concept so you can act differently. It's just so I think sometimes we need to be very careful with the words we throw out there, because those words have such a massive impact on someone's identity. And that in itself has an impact on how they will function. So yes, it's sad. It's sad, but it's it's possible for people to change. That's the one thing I want people to know, is that they might, wherever they are in their life right now, it doesn't mean that that's continually going to happen in the future. It will, if you don't change your thoughts and your beliefs about yourself, and you have no goals towards the future. Yes, your today will be exactly the same. Tomorrow will be exactly the same as your today. But if you are willing to change the way you perceive about yourself, you can so achieve the life you want and you desire.
Yeah. And while I'm listening to that, a statement came into my head.
What's that?
Insanity.
Insanity.
Yeah. For everyone that doesn't know what insanity is, it's the definition of it is doing the same thing over and over again to expect a different result.
Results. Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you. I use this formula with my clients, and I absolutely love it. And it's applicable to every single person. It's called E plus R equals O. So stands for events, R is reaction, and O is outcome. So events sometimes happen in our life which we have no control over. But the one thing we do have control over is the way we react. And how we react is what outcome we get. So if we continually react in the same way again and again and expect different outcomes, it's insanity, like you said.
Exactly.
But if you change your reaction, you will change the outcome. So do you know what? Sometimes people have this notion that they have no control whatsoever in their life. They do. They might not have control over the event. You don't have control over the weather. You don't have control over the traffic jam, but you do have control over how you react to that. So we do have control.
Yeah, I was saying this to my 8-year-old daughter yesterday, because obviously we asked her to do a little bit of work, and she started kicking off, stressing, screaming, you know it. Well, every little girl was like that.
I always do that all the time. So.
And that's not me being sexist. That's a disclaimer. That's just me being truthful. But anyway, I'm like, what are you doing? You're choosing to do this. You're choosing to behave like this. You don't have to behave like that.
It's taking personal responsibility. It's knowing that you've got a choice. And I struggle the same with my son. My son can't see, and it's an uphill battle. He blames everything. It's everyone else's fault, and he struggles to take personal responsibility. He struggles to understand that his choices have an impact on the outcomes. And yes, I think most of us kind of struggle with it sometimes. I think sometimes we don't want, sometimes do you know what, it's easier to feel like we are victims, because actually making the choice and have it would require us to to get out of our comfort zone, and that's too scary. So do you know what, I might as well just stick here and just blame the whole world, because you know what, it's more comfortable in this uncomfortableness. But you know what, I kid you not, there's so many people there that are uncomfortable with their life right now, but they would much rather be there, because it would be way more uncomfortable to get out of it.
Yeah. It's very true. Very true.
It is.
But ultimately they do have that. They've got a decision. They can either remain there, or they can decide to get out of that little bubble and change things for themselves.
And that's why we always say, if you're depressed, fine, just look at the word depression, because there's actually a statement in that word, and that means I pressed on. That's where you take the letters from it, and I always tell people that. But as well is, when you're getting up in the morning and you're making the bed, don't see it as a chore. See it as an achievement. Acknowledge it and be proud of it. Like my partner, she was depressed the other week, and obviously she cut the lawn and mowed the lawn and cut the edges, and she just sat there. I'm like, look what you've done, and she said, right, okay, I'm like, be proud of that. That's what you've done. Your hard work.
It's a major achievement.
Yeah.
It's about patting yourself in the back, acknowledging yourself for the little steps that you take each and every single day, even if it's getting yourself from bed into the shower. Wow, like pat yourself on the back for that, because that's a major achievement.
Exactly.
But I think when people are depressed, they kind of expect these achievements to be way bigger. Like it needs to be kind of radical. Like, they must have moved home, or I don't know, changed jobs, or. But no, it is the little things that, you have to, the little milestones that you have to do in order to get better.
Now, I want to cover what from the title. who is the online therapeutic coach? Now, for people that have not got a clue what it is, what is it? And
Okay,
how can you implement it on people?
Okay, so therapeutic coaching is, let's say it's therapy and coaching combined. Coaches generally don't have qualifications or any experience in the mental health field. I do, and that's where the therapeutic side of it comes in as well. So I kind of combine therapy and coaching in my sessions. Now, my sessions one day might be coaching, or it might be a little bit of both, or another session might be therapy. It's all very dependent on each individual person, depending on their needs at that time. The therapy is very much, the therapeutic aspect of the coaching is very much focused on the past and the present, and how our upbringing and how our thoughts and beliefs have had an impact on who we are today. So it's about looking at who you are now. What are you struggling with now? How has the past had an impact on you? Let's deal with that. Okay. But now the coaching aspect is about, okay, but we have to move forward. We're not going to remain stuck here, are we? We're not going to be stuck here where we think, okay, you're depressed and this is how life is and this is what has happened or had an impact in your present moment. We need to move forward. What is the ideal life you want to have? What do you want to achieve in your life? And then I start helping my clients to dream. We need to get them dreaming again. Think about what it is that, if you didn't have a mental illness, if you had all the resources in the world, what would you want to achieve? And I get them dreaming again. And you know what? And that brings them purpose. In terms of depression, I find purposefulness, something meaningful, something that they can wake up to every day, knowing that they've got something to look forward to, is so incredibly important.
Yeah.
And so if they're able to dream and identify what it is that they value, what are their interests, what are the feelings that they aspire to feel, and then we work towards that. And I've seen amazing results where I've seen people like so depressed, feeling like life is not worth living, to the point where they're actually now living their dream. And it is all about, finding purpose and finding meaning, because the one thing, when you wake up in the morning, and if you have no purpose and meaning, I can guarantee you the following morning is going to be exactly the same as today, this morning, It's copy and paste. And then obviously you don't have the not the willingness, there's nothing to get you up in the morning. But if you have something to look forward to.
You mean motivation?
Motivation. That's it. You need that motivation. You need something that's worthwhile, that will kick your butt out of bed and say, okay, you've got something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, and that's where the coaching aspect I love about it. It's about moving forward. It's not about being stuck and remaining in the past and saying, okay, I've got a mental illness and okay, we're going to manage it. Yes, we can manage it, but let's move forward.
Yeah. And that goes back to this same thing about knowing your why it is that you want to achieve something, why it is that you want to do something, why you want something in the future, or why you want your desires or your, a new life or a new perspective on something.
Yeah. And sometimes people don't actually know their whys because they've repressed their whys so many times in the past. Or people have put them down and said, you know what, you can't do that. Or, and it's about instilling hope and saying faith in them and saying that, you know what, you can do it. And let's figure out ways that you can do it. You've repressed your whys in the past. This is a great opportunity for you to put it into practice now.
Yeah.
When it comes to depression, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm talking loads. But
this is great.
When it comes to depression, people sometimes see depression as this miserable phase in their life. No. It is the most beautiful phase in your life, because I can tell you one thing. This is the time when it's telling you when you have depression, it's telling you to stop and to look within and to start, start redefining who you really want to be.
Yeah, because I always say, and I admit I'm a victim of this, where when I've hit rock bottom, I thought that was it. That was the end. Goodbye, Adam. But I've now learned to learn and gather those thoughts and look into the inner self where thinking, hit rock bottom? Yeah, of course it's going to be hard. It's going to be depressed. It's going to be isolated and claustrophobic. But really, see it as a positive as well. Because when your feet are on that ground, walls are closing in on you. All you need to do is look up, and that's the way back.
Totally. And you probably have learned so much that you wouldn't have learned had you not been there in that place.
Exactly.
That's why.
Sometimes,
yeah, carry on, Melissa.
Sorry. No, I was just going to say, it's like moving up that emotional scale, isn't it? You might be feeling really depressed, but what's the next step up from that? You know, it might be that you're feeling a little bit angry, or then you move up to the next level where it's more sadness, or it's so you can move up until you get to a level where you're feeling actually really good about yourself. But it's just making those small increments.
And it's identifying what exactly would you have to do for you to achieve that feeling?
Yeah.
You know, if you want to achieve something, if you feeling really angry and you need to get maybe to a place of acceptance, maybe like what would need to change in your life for you to get from angry to acceptance? And have them figure it out, and then have them work on that.
Exactly. And that's probably where the social science comes into play.
And social science, do you know, my whole tertiary education has been amazing in terms of equipping me with the knowledge and skills and experience to be dealing with mental illness, you know. So yes, it's been godsend, really. There was something else I was going to say. I forgot. I can't. Once I get on the subject of mental health, I can't stop.
And it's almost like sometimes you have to try and remember and catch yourself when you're thinking something negative or something that's not serving you, to catch yourself in, oh, hang on, I'm running that story again, or I'm running that negative thing again, and then changing it, flipping it into something more positive.
And that is so incredibly hard.
Yeah, it's really hard, but it's a moment of just catching yourself, isn't it?
It's the awareness part. I think it's the part that's it's sometimes it's not hard challenging the thought. What's hard is you becoming aware that you're experiencing that thought in the first place.
Yeah.
Exactly. And the key thing is communication. Now, obviously, I've just recently did that self-harm suicide prevention course, which obviously I passed. And the things I have learned from that is the key thing is communication. And if you haven't got anyone around you, that's okay. Communicate with yourself. Communicate with your own subconscious mind. And guarantee you're angry, you'll be questioning after about 10 minutes, why was I angry?
Yes. What made me angry? Like what? Because sometimes we have all these unpleasant feelings and we're experiencing them and we feel like, oh, there's something wrong, I'm uncomfortable. But first of all, we don't know what it is that we're feeling.
No.
So the first step is you need to sit down, observe what it is that you're feeling. You might be feeling a whole mixture of feelings, and you need to identify each feeling individually. And then just sit down and then like have that introspection and think, okay, what happened? What was said or what was done that might have triggered this emotion?
Exactly. Yeah.
When it comes to emotions, sometimes I always kind of think of it as like, let's just say anger is red, is the color red. Let's say envy is the color blue. Let's say sadness is the color pink. And we'll have another emotion, let's say another unpleasant emotion would be
happiness, proud.
No, happiness is a pleasant one, an unpleasant one.
Oh, unpleasant. Anger.
Yeah, I mentioned anger. Okay, anyway, let's just say anger, jealousy, and sadness. If each one represented a different color and we had to throw those colors all together, what type of color would we get? A murky brown, most probably.
Yeah.
That's where we are sometimes with our emotions. We've got so many emotions in the mix that we can't actually separate them.
That's true.
And so
do you actually need to separate them?
It's good to be, I believe that you need to sit down and actually identify your feelings and know and distinguish them from one another. Because you know what, you've got a whole mixture of feelings that are going within you, and each feeling communicates a different need to you.
Yeah.
So you need to sit down and say, okay, what is it that I've got a little checklist. I've got worksheets. I love worksheets. I've got a checklist of feelings because sometimes it's really difficult to actually, people don't know. There's so many feelings out there and people don't actually know what feelings they're experiencing. So I've got a checklist, like 4 pages. It's a big checklist, 4 pages of feelings where people can actually sit down and just tick what it is that they're feeling. And you know what? And then we will go and we'll talk about each feeling individually. And I can tell you one thing, they will walk out of there thinking, wow, I know what I feel now.
Yeah. See, and that's where Caroline Bennis, obviously she's tuned in. She's actually put this. I have to put it up. I have to. There you go.
Totally. Introspection and self-knowledge is the key. No doubt.
It's the key, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Every person, in terms of my work as well, I'm not the, what's the word? I'm not the person that is the know-it-all. It's the client that's the person that knows it all. They're the ones that know themselves better than I do. Like I can just be sitting down and guiding them, but that's the word. They're the experts. It's not me. They are the experts of their own life.
I said that, yeah. And obviously, before I actually jumped onto the StreamYard link, I was watching a live two other Aussies, and who obviously been on the show as well. And one of them was called Alan Stevens, brilliant man he is, and he actually said for anyone that goes to therapy, or even 21, it takes 19 seconds for them to start giving advice to that person. 19 seconds. It's like, what can you learn from someone in 19 seconds?
Oh, no, you can't. It's not enough.
Exactly.
Definitely not. You've got to sit down with them and actually listen to them. And sometimes you get clients that aren't able to open up in 4 sessions. So can you imagine? They're not able to. I have clients that I have worked successfully with that have ended and have achieved their goals, but that I still to date don't know them properly because they have only opened up a limited amount. Sufficient enough to achieve the goals, So everybody's different. There's people that are a little bit more open than others. The people that are a little bit more open are obviously you'll get to know them a little bit better. But then you've got those that really, really struggle to open up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And men struggle to open up.
That's true. I was one.
It's really, really challenging for men to open up, and those sessions can sometimes be it can be ongoing for a long time in the sense because they just find opening up being vulnerable.
This is why next Friday I'm going to be hosting. It's not an interview. It's more of a panel discussion where I'm bringing 6 other men on from all across the world. And we're going to talk about men's mental health.
Amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I think that's a really important topic.
What was that?
Let me know and I'll put that in my little group, the men who suffer, because I think it's important, men.
Very important.
Stop realizing that, it's okay to talk about.
Yeah, that's next Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. UK time. Next Friday, 11 a.m.
Amazing, Adam.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and as well, it's anti-bullying week. Well, like every week it is, but next week's anti-bullying week, so we'll be touching on that as well.
Bullying. I have seen the most horrendous repercussions that bullying has had on people's mental health to the point of extreme deliberate self-harming behavior, it is absolutely heart-wrenching to see what bullying can do to another person. And I am so, I think schools need to start taking a stand against bullying. I think sometimes it's just a topic that's so difficult to tackle. Because it's also based on people's perceptions of what bullying entails and doesn't entail. But it's just heartbreaking to see the repercussions that it has had in people's mental health and well-being.
I agree.
Yeah, totally.
I think we just need to be more respectful of each other, of differences. There's a saying, it says, we're talking about religion in the sense, but there's a saying about saying there's enough religion to make us hate each other. There's enough religion that makes us hate one another, but not enough religion that makes us love one another. And I think that's what we need to do, is we need to learn how to love and accept people for who they are. Differences of opinion. Everyone's beautiful and unique in their own way.
They are.
And every person brings color into this world, and let's just embrace it and accept them.
Absolutely.
And it's providing that really safe environment to allow people to talk and communicate and be open and trust what it is that they're feeling.
Be themselves. And there's so many people out there that are so scared to be themselves because they're afraid of being judged. They're afraid of being criticized. They're afraid because they're going to be embarrassed. Because it's like, what are people going to say? And sometimes it's not even to the extent of being really radical and wearing flashy clothes. It's normal things, like just wanting to just be a little bit different. Oh, my friend's going to accept me. It's just heartbreaking.
It is.
It is, totally.
Now, obviously, we'll cut this short because obviously I did receive a message that my partner wants to listen to the Remembrance Day bell things, which is happening in about 15 minutes. Yeah. It's happening in about 15 minutes. Obviously, it's all in respect of the veterans anyway. But I want to bring you back at some point, and we'll cover things like your challenges of how you dealt with them, to even talk about fear, the fear in people. I really do. I want to bring you back, and I hope you can come back as well, Melissa.
Yep.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And
you are
giving me a platform to actually verbalize and get this passion out, because it bubbles within me and I need a platform. So thank you.
And to think this was your very first time on camera.
I know. Well, yeah, to do this. Yes, no, totally. And I want to do this a bit more often. I need to get this passion out. Help me get it out.
No, you've done it. You've done it.
I know, but it's still bubbling. So yeah. So whatever I'm happy to join. So let me know.
Brilliant. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in. We love you live and everyone on the replay. Please share this in awareness. I know Katia will and Melissa will. I know I will. This isn't over. There is going to be 2 other podcasts today. One at 2:30 in the afternoon UK time, when Kerry Duval, Warrior Queen, will be interviewing Guy Brolando from America, because he's an American veteran. So he'll be coming on. And also, I'll be back 7 p.m. UK time tonight, when he'll be interviewing the suicide survivor, Michelle Nordhoff, I think her name is. I probably got that surname wrong as well. But hardcore says
you're gonna be knocked over the head, Adam.
Doesn't matter.
And Kerry just said, lastly, maybe be a regular guest, Katia.
I'll be happy to do that. Thank you.
There you go, Kerry. I think you've got an opportunity there. Happy days. Right, I will let you go, and we will see you later.
Cheerio. Thank you.